and cruel since his youthful days in school. His siblings he never did treat well. His self-centered bent was his dark side lament, with a focus on hypnotizing spell. He memorized laws to help sharpen his claws for a future for which he was bent. The time would surely come when for office he would run and claim he was just heaven sent.
Another politician has just taken center stage. He tells all the people that he loves them so. He comes on like a sage, says with him they should engage. A false prophet selling endless empty prose.
He stepped over dead bodies on his climb to the top. The highest post was his aspiration. But he forgot to read the fine print in the contract that he signed, which caused a U-turn to his final destination. He continued on his pathway of destruction and decay, never thinking that his wicked life would end. He never did take stock that the devil is not mocked, and all those broken fences will not mend.
Another politician has just taken center stage. He tells all the people that he loves them so. He comes on like a sage, says with him they should engage. A false prophet selling endless empty prose. He feels no lament for the lives that he spent. A jackal who thinks he can't be touched. But there will come a day when the devil's birds of prey paint their canvas with his lost soul's carrion brush.
He was with his favorite call girl and his black limousine doing lines.
Night Dreams Talk Radio, After Dark, wants to give a big shout out to all the truckers that listen to our show. Night Dreams Talk Radio Network brings you the World Paranormal News with James Creechbaum. Now, the latest news.
I'm James Creechbaum with the Paranormal and World Changes News. A meteor fireball recorded over Sarasota, Florida. Dozens of people, including the chief meteorologist at ABC News, saw the apparent meteor last night. Now, shortly before midnight, they saw a huge fireball streak across the sky. One witness said that she was watching TV facing her back door when she saw what looked like a comet with a tail going horizontally through the sky. She said she was totally amazed. Tube-shaped UFO sighting above Massachusetts. A video of a puzzling, glittering object seen above Massachusetts was sparked conspiracy claims, just like the weird snake-like UFO sightings that made the rounds online last year. According to one witness, he had caught a glimpse of a spinning bright white object over his head. The UFO is shown moving from one chemtrail to the other, slowly diminishing in size. Another witness said the object was around the same size as a bus, and it was hovering low over the highway around 200 feet. And the witness explained that the UFO was right above them. They drove directly under it, and it had two big lights that were facing forwards while the object in question was moving and totally silent as well. A goat was born with a human face in India. A mutant goat has been captured on camera, born with a hauntingly human face. The tiny animal was born in India just days ago and left the locals totally baffled. Now, specialists have suggested that the goat suffers from a rare congenital defect known as cyclopopia, in which genes that create facial symmetry in normal circumstances fail to express properly. UFOs may actually be tourist-carrying cruise ships from the future. Undoubtedly, in the future, there are those that will pay a lot of money to have the opportunity to go back and observe their favorite period in history. Some of the most popular tourist sites are the pyramids of Giza and Machu Picchu in Peru, old and prehistoric sites. Stories of alien abductions as indicators that many of the UFO time machines contain anthropologists doing what he or she wishes they could do if he or she had the technology, meeting ancient civilizations and perhaps picking up a few samples. Are we one step closer to a pilotless commercial jets? Well, the concept of pilotless commercial jet flight has been, thought of and tried about for years. But while the technology has been there's been little concrete evidence to suggest anonymous flying could ever really get off the ground. Until now, Airbus has confirmed one of its test aircraft took off automatically at an airport in France just last December. You can name one of the in a finalist. There's a finalist to name the rover that is going to Mars. And these are 9 potential names for the Mars 2020 rover, and your vote can help NASA decide. Now, there are 9 names left standing in the contest, and your vote in online poll, which is open now through January 27th. You could help name the next generation of rover that will roam across Mars after it launches this summer. And the next news break, top of the hour.
Good evening or morning, depending on your time zone. From the Pacific to the Atlantic to you worldwide. Get yourself a cup of Java and find a comfy, easy chair. And get ready for Gary and his guest on Night Dreams Talk Radio, After Dark. And now, here's Gary.
And here I am on a Wednesday. I can honestly tell you, this week is going by, again, fast. I don't know about you, James, but I can tell you one thing. It is strange. The older you get, time speeds up. Well, one thing in the news, in science news, there's a new bacteria, according to scientists, when they're checking for DNA. Now, this type of DNA testing for this type of, I hate to say it, bacteria, could be maybe the downfall of mankind. There's now starting to find, because, Antarctica is receding. They're starting to find all these bacteria that us humans can't, how can I say it? We could not withstand if we got any of these viruses or, if we came in contact with them, it would do all kinds of, diseases to us. And James, I don't know about you, but it's scary.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've said that many times in past shows a few months back about, the ice melting and unleashing something that could have been dormant and frozen under feet, tons and tons of snow and ice. And now it's coming out because our immune systems have never had a chance to build up an immune against it. So, yes, something could come out that could wipe us out. I mean, look what's going on in China. That's already now spreading to the U.S.
Oh, yeah. Well, some of this bacteria, what it says is that even our strongest antibiotics would not even work with it. It would not kill the bacteria. So that is scary, very scary. And, bacteria from the Black Sea has an unusual diet. It likes eating magnesium and sulfur.
Oh, that's a new one on me. That's interesting. I did some. That's like people that live in Greenland. There's more people live in Greenland that's over 100 years old than anywhere else. So it's got to be something in the water or the way they eat or something.
Well, it has to be, because maybe they don't eat all this processed food that we eat here. In countries like the UK, Great Britain, United States, Germany, Canada, and a lot of other countries, we eat a lot of processed food. which has already, been proven it can cause all kinds of diseases like cancer. So I don't know. It's scary. Well,
exactly.
Yeah, go ahead.
Exactly. I was going to say exactly, and that brings me to my next thing, that the plant burgers, those things, that's all processed. It can't be good. I've seen the big vats they make that stuff, and it reminds me of how they make Soil Eat Green. But anytime you process things and break it down chemically and artificially make things and make it something it's not, that's not good. It just can't be healthy for you. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
I don't know. Our body is designed to eat, plants, and it's designed to eat meat. And trying to substitute plant to taste like meat. Why don't people just eat celery or something? I don't know. Contaminated groundwater can take over 20 years to break down, according to science.
I'm surprised it doesn't take longer than that, depending on what, especially radiation or whatever it is. But yeah, that's what happens when it outlives us. When it takes over so much of it that we don't have time to wait for it to decontaminate. Then what?
Yeah, I don't know. We can learn a lot about life on other planets by studying, viruses. Because when we eventually go on to like Mars or some other planets, who knows what viruses might lurk.
Oh, yeah. That's, I think about that a lot. And then, that goes two ways, because who knows what we may bring with us. It's already been proven. We've give them trillomites or whatever trilodites, some little bear-like looking things, have already traveled through space. So, yeah, that's pretty scary. That's like when the astronauts came back. They were quarantined for like 30 days or something.
Oh, yeah. Well, they found another bacteria out there. It actually, and this is recently founded, it repairs cement. Like cement of buildings, cement on roads and stuff. There's no really cure when you get a big crack in cement. You can patch it, but that's only a temporary fix. Well, this bacteria actually causes cement to heal.
Wow.
It forms into those cracks or breaks, and then actually makes the cement even stronger than what it was originally.
Well, that's almost scary. And I wonder what day when it takes over and the bacteria starts, thinking and making decisions on its own, then what? It seals us in with concrete. Oh, scary. Sounds like a movie.
It is, but, they're just finding stuff out about bacteria more now than ever. Antibiotic resistant is nature, and it has been that way for years and years, all through mankind, that, people will get bacteria, then they, like they originally put sulfur on it, which at one time would control the infection. Well, now they come to a conclusion, this has been going on forever, and as fast as they come out with, a antibiotic to treat, the bacteria, as fast as that happens, the bacteria just kind of, moves on to and migrates to something else.
Yeah, or else it builds up a resistance against what we're fighting it with, and the battle keeps on going. That's why it's dangerous that some doctors give antibiotics out like chiclets, for anything, and then when you really need them, when you shouldn't use them, then when you need them, you can. And you've said it before, there's plenty of viruses out there that, a lot of antibiotics aren't even touching.
No, not just that. I would say you go out and work in your own yard and you're gardening, and then all of a sudden you come home and, get back in the house and you notice you have a little cut. The next day your finger is swollen and you don't think anything of it, and then it gets infected. You go to the doctor, they give you antibiotics. Well, now the day after that, your whole arm is now infected, and they got you in the hospital on life support. What happens is it migrates. Whatever the bacteria is, it migrates. So even if they give you the antibiotics, the chances are a lot of these times the antibiotics isn't going to do anything, because whatever that antibiotics was, designed for, wasn't designed for this type of bacteria that has migrated. And that's the problem. We've given, cattle, chickens, all this type of stuff, antibiotics for so many years. And then you're eating and drinking the milk